Hi everyone and welcome to this week's EBC. We're at St. John's here this week with our giving tree. This is the tree where it says take one and leave one, and it's got two different colors of leaves on it. And this is for our Growing in Generosity series that we've been doing. The idea is that you could take a yellow leaf that is something that you've never done before, that is a way to grow in generosity by doing something for St. John's, and then for God, of course, because doing something for St. John's is doing something for God. Or you can leave an orange leaf, which is leaving something about something you do for St. John's already that is meaningful to you in the way in which you give to God. We're going to use this tree a little bit because we're looking this week at John 15, verses 1 through 8, and it's the verses where Jesus talks about being the vine and God is the vine dresser. But before we get there, I actually want to back up into the Old Testament to talk about Isaiah 5 for a moment. There is a fantastic story in Isaiah 5. Isaiah 5 has a love song, the way it's described in the Bible, and it's a love song that would have been used to teach the people in the Bible. This song starts with the idea that there is a vineyard and that somebody has been working in that vineyard to plant the vines and to treat them as well as could possibly be, put up the fencing, put up the walls, water them and care for them. And then when they go to get the fruit from the vineyard, it's wild grapes. And then as the song goes on, the song says, what should I do with that vineyard? Because instead of getting these fantastic grapes, I'm getting wild grapes. And the song says, well, I'm going to destroy the vineyard and I'll trample it underfoot and there won't be anything left to it. And the way this is described in the Lutheran Study Bible, the idea of this song would have been one where as it's being sung, it's sort of getting everyone's agreement together. That's right. You know what? If it's a vineyard that isn't growing nice grapes, it should be trampled. And then at the very end of the song, it's revealed that if you think about God and God's relationship to the people of Israel at the time, that in fact God's not getting the good grapes from the people of Israel. And so, well, connect the dots. Maybe the people of Israel should be destroyed. And I want to pause there for a moment because what does that mean for us? And I'm just going to say, let's be honest for a moment here, there's a lot of yellow leaves left on this tree still. And if you ask me, actually, have I taken a yellow leaf off of here to do something different than anything I've been doing before? The answer is no. I put one orange leaf on here. It says EBC. But the question is, what happens when we haven't done more, when we haven't bore more fruit than we did previously? And so now we turn to John 15. And in John 15, Jesus says, I'm the vine, God is the vine dresser. And it starts at first sounding an awful lot like Isaiah because Jesus says, look, if there's a branch that bears fruit, fantastic. God prunes it and it bears more fruit. But if there is a vine that doesn't bear fruit, that's going to get pruned and taken away. And I got to say, that doesn't sound great for us. And as we think about growing in generosity, so far it sounds like the message is do it or else. But we know that's not actually the message. Because Jesus goes on from there and he says, look, I can assure you, and he's talking to his disciples, by the way, when he says this, I can assure you, you're already clean, you're branches, and you're good because of the word that I have spoken to you. That's it. That's all you need. And so he says, just as the branches don't bear fruit without the vine, in this case, as we're looking at the tree, the branches wouldn't work without the trunk, so you can't bear fruit without Jesus. There's something else that's happening now in John that wasn't happening in Isaiah. And that something else is that Jesus is with us, right? The story isn't Jesus saying, I'm the person with the vineyard and I've planted all of you. He says, I'm with you. God made the vineyard and I'm a vine in the vineyard with you and you're the branches. I'm with you to help. And so now we know that as we're being asked to bear fruit, we've got Jesus there with us. And in fact, Jesus says, just as those branches don't bear fruit without the vine, you can't bear that fruit without me. But with me, you can bear fantastic fruit. If you abide in me and I abide in you, you'll bear much fruit. And then here's the best part. It's no longer about if you don't do it, there'll be consequences. It's no longer about do it or else. The end of these verses is, in this way, if I abide in you and you abide in me, and together we bear much fruit, God is glorified. It's not the plan to say do it or else. The plan is let's all do it together, Jesus and us, to glorify God. So as you're thinking about growing in generosity, or even as you're just thinking about sort of the people you meet this week that you're doing things for because your heart is filled with the joy of God's loving Spirit and Jesus with you and helping you bear that fruit, remember that as we give, it's because it glorifies God. Everyone, have a fantastic week.